Making sure
Welcome to the Copy Closer podcast. I've got an amazing guest for you guys, Kyle Willis and To Quo Consulting. If you don't know what that means, it means for No to the Quo. This guy is the man with the plan. He's got an awesome team. In fact, he's your virtual marketing department if you've got a marketing department that wants to get to the next level. So Kyle, dude, hey, thank you so much for coming on the show. Really appreciate you, man.
Carlos, my friend, I'm glad to be here. Thank you for the opportunity.
Hell yeah. So for a lot of the people who listen to this, we have folks who are internet marketers. We have some people who are copywriters, and we have a few brick and mortar people who own actual businesses, what I call an actual business. Like I used to own a gym and I used to have to pay rent. That's an actual business. So actually take us through what you did before you got to this marketing stuff. Cause I want to get into some tactical stuff. I want to get a bunch of good information from you. But before we do, man, let's get into that story. How did you get into this world? What did you do?
The story for me begins.
Let's roll those sleeves up.
Yeah, we're serious now, man. This is the story comes, and I'm down for the details. Okay, the quick version of it. 10 years old. I was a kid who would set up a little stand at the top of my driveway and pawn off his toys that he was no longer using to the neighborhood kids. And it began my journey in entrepreneurship, began my journey in marketing, because how do I sell toys that are no longer cool to me to someone else who they should become cool too? And that then showed me what it means to actually have my own money. That became my money for vacation or whatever. So long story short, that's really where it began. Started my first real business when I was in high school. I owned a window washing company, became a power seller on eBay. We can go on and on.
In high school?
In high school, dude, if for those who follow Gary Vee, he's always talking about those flippers. You go to garage sales, buy shit up, see what's selling on eBay and make a few bucks. I was doing that when I was 16 years old, and until about early 20s, where I found I could make more money doing other things. And I would find, for me, it was electronics. And then when I got into my early years of college, got into designer jeans. I'd go to our thrift stores at the college where people were getting rid of their True Religion, Seven for All Mankind, whatever it was, and either sell them as is, or then I would distress them myself so they had kind of a unique style to them, resell them on eBay, buy them for 15, sell them for 100, and realize I can do this over and over again. It took a little bit of time to pack it up and ship it out, but hey, made a few extra bucks and hit that power seller status and kept it for a few years.
Dude, that's fucking sick. It's so funny because you were doing this at 16 years old. And when you talk about, a couple bucks, that might've been a couple $1,000 a month, and a couple $1,000 a month can make a big difference in a lot of people's lives. I mean, shoot, I know people in my family who, if they had an extra $2,000, $3,000 a month, they'd probably quit their fucking job. Like, that's sick, dude.
Well, dude, the reality is just anyone can do this. That's why I think Gary Vee, for those who don't know Gary Vee, Gary Vaynerchuk is big on this, because the whole deal is you just got to find, and this is, I think, the foundation for all marketers, is you got to find the need that people have. What is that itch that you can scratch? For me, at that point, it was designer jeans. I found that people are willing to spend a premium for what was out there and that they couldn't get readily themselves. As much as I run my marketing agency, I have a side hustle buying and selling cigars through Facebook groups, and I love it. It's been a wonderful opportunity, built some incredible relationships out of it, but it does a good 6 figures for me just on a side hustle.
Wow. You make 6 figures flipping cigars?
Flipping cigars.
How long did you start this?
2015 was kind of the venture into it. I started because I was running a contest on my marketing agency, where I was going to offer up a box of cigars. And I said, let me get the word out there. I'm going to jump in these Facebook groups. As I got in these Facebook groups, discovered there is an underbelly. There is call it a gray market because it's not a full-on black market, but there is a gray market of people who buy and sell cigars. I mean, it's the same deal like with watches and bourbon and this stuff.
I used to buy guns that way through Facebook groups.
It's up there, And so, so 15 and 16 were kind of just a venture into it, build up my own collection, start building some relationships. And it's really been 17, 18, and 19 that it's taken off for me. And I mean, I put in about 10 hours a week into it. So it doesn't really take extra time. I do most of it at nights and weekends. So that way I can really, my main focus, pays the bills and keeps the lights on and gives a good lifestyle is the marketing agency. This is the side hustle that's the joy and a passion project.
Well, what I like about this is there's a lot of people who have an agency but don't have anything other than an agency. They've never done anything. They don't even know how to sell anything else other than their services. And so I think that's super powerful. In fact, when somebody gets on the phone with you and says, hey, are you guys just an agency, or can I see samples? I mean, shit, you could just be like, dude, I have a cigar business making 6 figures that I just work 10 hours a fucking week on. Like, stuff like that is something that you can actually show for proof. Plus, it makes you a nice little side income. That's interesting, man. And so you just like cigars, and you said, "Do it. I'm just gonna start flipping cigars."
Exactly. So I got a little bit of an addictive personality when it comes to like collections. So, if you see on my wall up there is my jerseys and my helmets, and sports memorabilia has been one of them. Watches, bourbon. When I get into something, I get into it. I mean, we can talk marketing. When I got into marketing, that was where it's like, hell yeah, I want to know everything there is. But when it came to cigars, I discovered that there are some rare brands out there. There's manufacturers who make very limited production, kind of like the micro brews that are out there. And if I figure out how to collect these, if I figure out how to acquire them, I can build my own collection, sell off extras, and basically now what I sell pays for me to build my own collection. Yeah. And I mean, this is the joy of it, though, where it's like now what I'm working on is bringing the two together. Marketing's always been the first love. Cigar's been another. Right before I got on this call with you, I was talking to a cigar manufacturer who creates his own cigars, owns 2 retail shops, and owns an e-commerce shop. Well, they need marketing help. And the person who's been working with them hasn't been a good fit. And so it's that deal of, hey, you first know me from cigars. I met one of their reps in a cigar group. And now let's talk about Kyle, the marketing guy. Whenever I ship off cigars, I put this little flyer in the cigars that says, you may know me from slinging cigars, but my real passion is helping businesses with their digital marketing. It goes on to explain what I do. And so I have people call me up and say, wait a minute, you do SEO, you do web design, in this deal? Well, yeah. That's actually what I spend my real time doing. Cigars are the side hustle.
So you're closing cigar, business owners who retail stores, manufacturers, etc., because you're smoking. God, this is so sick. This is such an interesting interview. I didn't expect this, this is because not that I didn't expect it to be interesting, but this type of stuff is cool because your passion, your thing is smoking cigar. It's like funny because we smoke marijuana here in Arizona, right? So I'm thinking, it's legal here, right? So I'm thinking maybe I can just go to these dispensaries that know me because I go there every other day and shit and be like, yo, you guys need some marketing help. Let's say, because you've been able to combine something that's your passion and something that you're actually making money with on the side. And now you're taking it to another level and working with those people to actually help them grow their business.
Yes, sir. And that's been part of it. As, with No To The Quo, we currently don't have a specific niche that we're focusing on. It's predominantly B2B. We talk more about that as we go on, but it's been a bit more versatile in the audiences that we work with.
Yeah.
Here's a little secret for you and your audience. Probably January 1st will be officially announced. I'm on the verge, though, of launching a cigar marketing agency that will only be focusing on retailers and manufacturers. When you think about doctors, dentists, lawyers, etc., all of the cannabis, all of those industries have marketing agencies that focus exclusively on them. But cigars, even though it's a $15 billion industry growing 30% year upon year, if you go look up cigar marketing, there's not one active marketing agency out there for that industry. So it's that aspect, as a good entrepreneur, you find that blue ocean. You say, okay, where is that itch that I can scratch? Who has a need that I know how to solve? I can combine my passion for marketing with my love for cigars, bring them together and actually make a real difference for those cigar manufacturers or retailers who are usually depending upon their 12-year-old niece to do their social media.
Yeah, dude, that's funny. It's funny because most of the cigar shop owners that I've met, they basically have like a team. It's like salespeople, right? I mean, they'll have, or I don't know if it's maybe the manufacturers. They'll go and try to put the cigars into the retail shops, and it's a lot of face-to-face selling.
It is, yeah.
It's very heavily into. It's like old school, very old school. And so what you're talking about could really transform that. I mean, you might put some face-to-face salespeople out of a job. I don't know, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's so much of the aspect of just knowing the right timing. The cigar industry is under heavy scrutiny right now from the FDA. And I know our interview isn't about cigars, so I'll keep this focused on marketing.
Well, this is interesting. We can go anywhere.
But the FDA is cracking down. Cigars get grouped into vaping and cigarettes as well. The problem is that cigars are predominantly what's considered a premium industry, where an average cigar is $10 and above. But it's the teens who've had issues with vaping, who buy those 99-cent Black and Milds, that the FDA is saying, we want to have more scrutiny on this. So there is actually there is a law in trying to go through right now that just passed the House that would actually make it illegal to sell cigars online.
Oh my goodness.
Currently that way with cigarettes, and they want to make it illegal for vaping and cigars as well. Even though it's completely different audiences, cigars versus cigarettes and vaping, they group it all together. If this is to happen, it's going to become all the more important for brick and mortars to know how to leverage online marketing to get people in their door. And this is where, as much as I love the online sales, because that's how I buy most of my stuff, I see it as, man, this is the right time for what I'm working on with the marketing side. Because every time you type in best cigar shop in Arizona, Arizona is one of I have a few clients that I've worked with in Arizona. It's probably one of the most competitive states, let alone, like, if you're in Phoenix, the most competitive areas, because there's so many big cigar shops in there. How do you show up in Google when I type best cigar shop in Scottsdale or in Phoenix? You may know, but about 70% of all traffic, all clicks, happen within Google. The first 3 results, they call it the Google Maps, they call it the Holy Grail or the map pack. If you are in the first 3 results, you're missing out on 70% of all people who are actually looking for you. It's even higher on mobile, because people hit that call button, hit that direction button, and within 24 hours or less are in the shop they're looking for. So if you're a cigar shop, and the same principle applies to pretty much any brick and mortar when it comes to the importance of Google My Business, if you aren't showing up in Google Maps, you're out of the game.
Dude, this is the perfect time for something like you, because for this type of service, because if that law goes through, it's not saying that, I assume, I haven't seen it, but yeah, it's not saying you can't market online. You may not be able to be as direct, like, hey, buy my cigar, add to cart, but there's other forms of marketing to get people through the door. And so that's going to be this is the time to do it, because they're going to be handicapped. And now you're here saying, hey, I can help you do this legally.
Oh, yeah.
and get you more results.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's the whole aspect of being my attitude in all of this with all of our clients. But as we're focusing, the marketing agency for cigars is going to be a sister company to To The Quo. But the whole focus is going to be an ally. The way we work, everything's on a month-to-month basis. It's all about building trust and showing results. And so in that, if you relied on an e-commerce business to provide most of your revenue, and that goes away in the next 2 years or later, do you have a game plan of how to get people in your door? If you don't have a brick and mortar and you're only an online business, be prepared to go out of business.
Wow, dude. So tell me a little bit more about your company. How did you even come up with the name? I like the name. Tell me a little bit more about that. How you guys work?
Yeah, To The Quo was the name that came out of a few different things. The foundation being a bit of disgruntledness with my past experience working for some of the big agencies. I live here in Seattle, Washington, working for some of the bigger agencies that are here, and seeing how they interacted with smaller businesses, from long-term contracts, $20,000 minimums, very profit-driven, and really void of understanding how to build the relationship and trust. It was, we'd have clients where this was never said directly, but the attitude was always, oh, we got a 12-month contract. We're going to spend 3 months onboarding that client, putting together our plan for them. 6 months kind of just coasted. And then the last 3 months were, oh shit, we got to get our stuff together because our contract's about to renew. And if they don't see real tangible results, then we're getting fired. And so 6 to 9 months of the actual 12-month contract were just kind of meh. And that was a status quo I saw so often with the agencies that I worked with or agencies that I saw and how they were operating here in Seattle, and knowing that was across the state. I said, man, there's got to be a better way. This is a status quo I'm sick of. I would love to really allow businesses to know that they got someone they can trust that treats every day like it could be their last. The way we work, it's all relationship and it's all results driven. If we aren't showing an ROI, we pack our own bags. So there's no long-term contract with us, because if we're doing our job, you're going to keep us around. And I don't have to worry about a contract securing that spot for me. And then with our team, and we've really brought on true experts in their field. So while so often what I see in agencies, and I was in this place a lot, they'd hire the great sales pitch and they got handed off to a junior position or an intern. And it was that aspect of, all right, you may tell me what to do, but I don't really know what I'm doing now. And so that aspect of, no, if especially if you're working with small and mid-sized businesses, every dollar really does matter, and every day really does matter. So how are you going to treat it and treat my business as if it was your own?
Dude, that's huge. That's huge. And you're right. It's not just in Seattle, but that's kind of like it is kind of like the status quo with a lot of marketing agencies. In fact, some of them will sue their clients for trying to get out of a contract. I'm like, why would you do that? Why would you want to sue somebody who just gave you money? Just let them go, dude. It's not going to be good for your name.
I'm not a gym membership. I'm not Comcast. And so in that, I don't want people feeling hamstrung. Now, I understand there's times where it's like, look, we did have an agreement, and, we've had times before where a specific campaign required 6 months to build out. And we do a lot of work up front. And if you quit out of that, then cool, have an early termination fee. That's fine. But when it comes to the aspect of we have a set plan, but it can operate on a monthly basis, and build that trust and deliver some good shit before you're going to ask for more money, or you're going to tell someone they're fired if they don't want to, that you want money back from them if they're going to let you go.
Totally. Now you guys are kind of known as being the virtual marketing department for a lot of these companies. So what do you have like specific things that you guys do for folks? Do you do like funnels and copywriting and ad? Do you kind of do the whole thing or what?
Yeah, it is full service. Practically there, to be upfront, we don't do video production or app development, but pretty much everything else. And really, with To The Quo, it's from that foundation of we need to understand who you are, who you're trying to reach, and what are you trying to do. And in that standpoint, then we'll put together a specific custom plan for them that could entail funnel building, could entail SEO, web design, copywriting, whatever the tactics might be. It's not a one size fits all. It's that aspect of where you're trying to go. Let's put together the roadmap to get you there.
That's huge. And do you work, I know you said you're going to be working with cigar companies primarily. Is that going to be like another part of your business? Or do you work with a particular kind of client now?
Yeah, so the Cigar Marketing Agency will be a sister company to To The Quo. That will operate separately from. That'll be more of a productized service where it will be, here's the different packages, what's the best fit, sign up for what you want, a lot more low cost as we're serving smaller businesses. With To The Quo, it's more of that aspect then of the plans we put together range based upon what needs to be done, and then we build it in phases as well. So rather than trying to, it's going to be $20,000 and it's going to take us 6 months to do, what's phase one for $3,000 and build some trust, show you results, and build it out. With industry wise, we're pretty industry agnostic. There are a couple that we don't touch. We don't do digital marketing for real estate or finance. Nothing against those. Love those. We have some real estate finance clients that will do web development and graphic design. But for me, a lot of it was when there's fiduciary responsibilities, what you can and can't say. There's a lot more hoops to jump through. It stunts the marketing flexibility of speed and being able to get speed to market, being able to get the message out. And there's some brilliant people I know that who work with those type of industries. So my big deal is stay in your lane, know what you do well, and own that. So those that I don't feel I do as well, those I don't feel I can serve as well, I say, hey man, here's my buddy. You need to talk to him or her.
I love it, man. And money loves speed. So speed is huge. Speed of implementation is the way to go.
Sir.
Dude, where can people find more about you, man? Do you have a website people can go to, or where can they connect with you?
Yeah, I mean, the thing I love connecting most with people on is my podcast called Marketing from the Roosevelt Room. So Marketing from the Roosevelt Room, we have a website, mfrrpodcast.com. And that's where people can hear my passion. I connect with a lot of entrepreneurs. You and I are going to be having an episode soon. And that's where I'd say is the foundation to it. If they want to know more from the marketing standpoint of just, all right, what do we offer from services? Our company, No To The Quo, is just notothequo.com. That's where they can connect me from the marketing. But the podcast is really, really where you'll hear my passion. You'll hear my viewpoint. If they want to know what is status quo in marketing today, and how do I step out of that? That's where we dig into what it looks like to look beyond status quo.
Dude, I love it. Guys, Kyle Willis on the podcast. Make sure you add him on Facebook. Make sure you check out his website, notothequo.com. And also check out the podcast, Marketing from the Roosevelt Room. Did I pronounce Roosevelt wrong? I always fuck that up.
You're good. Roosevelt, like Teddy Roosevelt.
Teddy Roosevelt. Yeah, so Marketing from the Roosevelt Room. Check out that podcast and then notothequo.com. Dude, Kyle, thank you so much for being on the show, man. It's been awesome.
Awesome, bro. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much.